Senator Ruben Gallego is a Democrat from the great state of Arizona. His committees include Energy, Veterans Affairs, Banking, and Homeland Security. Senator, welcome to the briefing. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So let me begin with the reporting of my friend Alex Bolton that says some centrist Democrats are signaling that Republican colleagues may be trying to reach some sort of an agreement. Tell me what you're hearing.
I don't have much specific details, and hopefully there is an agreement. But the agreement has to have one of the most important elements, which is we make sure that 24 million Americans do not see their insurance premiums double. And whatever the outcome of these negotiations has to have some type of assurance of that in it.
Can you clear up one of the talking points we're hearing from Republicans, and the president said it again in the 60 Minutes interview that aired Sunday with Norah O'Donnell? The Democrats want to give millions of dollars in health care to illegal aliens. True or false?
False. If you're receiving ACA tax credit, you are not, illegal aliens, illegal immigrants are not eligible for these tax credits. Now, I don't know who they nowadays define as that, but there's no, under the law, there's no way that illegal aliens or immigrants can receive this tax credit. What we're really worried about are the 24 million Americans that we know will be affected by their inaction.
And the other thing that we're hearing from your party, Democrats, saying all along since the Affordable Care Act was put in place by President Barack Obama, the goal is to kill ACA. Is that what your sense is from congressional Republicans, from this president?
Well, I mean, it's not just what we sense, it's what we know he has attempted to do. I mean, if you remember back, one of the great U.S. senators, John McCain, was the last person to actually stop it, and there has been no plan to actually replace it. They've been very clear about it. They will continue to be clear about it, and they feel that this is one of the most important steps in order for them to actually start deteriorating and destroying the ACA.
Well, you point out the SNAP benefits. Obviously, those in the military, and you're on Veterans Affairs, are not getting paid, and we're seeing some significant delays. Have you sensed them flying back and forth from D.C. to Arizona?
We've seen it. We've sensed it. I've sensed it. We're hearing from people, obviously, that are also feeling it. But we're also hearing from a lot of people calling right now that are receiving their notices during open enrollment. People that are suddenly seeing their insurance premiums double. People that are trying to figure out whether they are even going to have insurance anymore because they just may not be able to afford it. So we're hearing, obviously, a hurt all around. And, the solution to this is for, true leadership from President Trump and Republicans to actually sit down, negotiate a good outcome that takes care of all these problems. And, of course, when things are so expensive, food, rent, cars, everything, assuring that we don't have a massive increase in premiums, I think, is a very good bipartisan approach or goal.
So, Senator, and I think this is the looming question, does your side of the aisle trust congressional Republicans? Do you trust the president to work in good faith on some of these issues?
No, certainly not. And what we've seen so far this year, even when we have passed, appropriations or bills, the president has gone back and rescinded those bills. Whenever we've actually has seen the courts effectively try to stop the president, he will try to go around. So we have not seen there's no trust factor there. So rather than trust that they're going to be on the lookout to make sure that Americans don't have premiums doubled, I want to make sure that we have a negotiated outcome to make sure, again, the Americans don't have their premiums doubled.
So is there a way to rebuild that trust? Can both sides get there? Because to me, that is key in trying to hammer out any agreement in the next year of Republicans in control of Congress and the president, Republican in the White House.
Well, I think the way to do that is to actually actively have real votes that are negotiated, that are with the goal and intent of making sure that people, have good health care and have good, in general, outcomes from, their interaction with the federal government. But right now, we have not seen it. So instead of trusting, I want to make sure that we have, ironclad votes to make sure that people don't have their insurance premiums doubled.
We are talking to Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego from Arizona, and of course you've been campaigning in Virginia, New Jersey, two big races for governor, Prop 50 on the ballot in California. You served in the House before being elected to the U.S. Senate. Handicap, what do you expect will happen tonight when the returns come in?
I think the returns will be very favorable to Democrats, both in New Jersey and in Virginia. I think it's going to show that there is a wave of anti-Trump and anti-GOP votes, and I think it's going to be a pretty good precursor and predictor of what's going to happen in 2026.
Did you see on Truth Social President Trump basically endorsing Andrew Cuomo for mayor of New York City? Do you have any reaction to that?
That's not I did see it, and if I was Andrew Cuomo, that's not an endorsement I would be proud of.
So what's going to happen in the New York City mayoral race? Because, as you know, the debate within political circles is Zoran Mamdani, the future of the Democratic Party.
Well, I think Zoran is going to win. I think he is definitely the future of the Democratic Party in New York. And I think for a lot of us, there are some elements of what we've learned from the campaign that can be transferable to Arizona, and some things that are not. But, you know, he has created excitement, and I think that's something that we should be excited about for the party in general.
As you know, some say you also are the future of the Democratic Party. Your name has been mentioned as a potential candidate in 2028. If you were to run, why would you run?
There you go. That's one of the better, smarter questions, I guess, to get this around. You know,
I'm trying.
I know. Hey, give you credit for creativity. You know, the reason I'm a senator and the reason I was able to win my Senate race is because I particularly understand what it means to be, you know, a worker, to work hard and live and believe in the American dream, but also understand the frustration when you work hard and you just don't feel like there's any movement there. Or as a father looking at the world and of 3 kids and recognizing that maybe my kids may not do as well as I did. You know, or as a veteran, understanding that, you know, the country that I know is slowly slipping away. Those are the things that motivated me to run for U.S. Senate and just in general get involved in politics. And, you know, no matter what I do going forward in my life, it's going to be kind of the anchor ideas of what I do and why I do it.
Let me try to ask the question this way. Honestly, are you at least thinking about it? Are people talking to you about potentially running in 2028? I realize it's early, but certainly if you're thinking about it, you may be discussing this with other people.
Look, people are discussing it with me. People are approaching me and asking me. I can't deny that. But, you know, right now I'm focusing on, you know, 2 things. Number one, being a good father. I'm now the father of a brand new baby at 4 months, and also making sure that I do my job as a good senator from Arizona, and we will take care and think about other things later at the later point.
Okay, so here's another candid question. Are you doing the 3 a.m. feedings?
I am doing sometimes a 3 a.m. feeding. I also have a 2-year-old that is going through sleep regression right now, so I'm also doing the 2 a.m. putting back the 2-year-old into bed, and then helping out with the burping and back pushing too.
Spoken like a true father. Hey, Senator, let me ask you about what's happening off the coast of Venezuela, because, as you know, the USS Gerald R. Ford and the carrier group is en route to that part of the world. A lot of concern about what it means for U.S. troops in Venezuela. Also, the president talking about potentially some sort of action in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. What are you hearing? What are your colleagues hearing? What do you think?
Well, look, I think, number one, the American public has made it very clear we don't want to go to war unless it is in the direct interest of this country. And certainly some of that may be in Venezuela, but the use of military force to try to stop either, you know, the drugs leaving the country ostensibly or to overthrow the Maduro government is not where the American public is. I think it's also not in the best national interest of this country that we are known as toppling, you know, a country in our hemisphere or anywhere around the world. I think it'll end up making us more enemies, not more friends. And I also think it's illegal what's happening right now. You know, the president needs to make a decision. Are we at war? Then come and make your case to Congress of why we are in war versus Venezuela, which I don't think he will get approval, or if this is an actual you know, process to stop, you know, criminal conduct, then you have to use, you know, real efforts to that, such as the Coast Guard, and abide by the rules that we've established in this country. We do not kill people for selling drugs. You certainly don't also do that without any judge, jury, and a trial. This president has taken upon himself that he has decided that, you know, that potential trafficking, and we don't know actually if they're all traffickers, is the consequence is automatic death. The death penalty. That's not where the American public is. That's not what we think about in terms of the judicial system. And he is actively engaging in illegal war and conducting murder in the name of the U.S. government. And I think that is something that we need to figure out how to stop.
Senators, you know, in your student of history, one of the lessons of the Vietnam War and also perhaps in Iraq and Afghanistan, that is of mission creep. Mm-hmm. Do you have a sense that your Republican colleagues, I mean, you're in the Senate, the role of Congress is to provide checks and balances with this president or any president, Democrat or Republican. Is Congress doing its job?
No, I don't believe Congress, the U.S. Senate, in control by the Republicans, are providing any type of oversight or check on this president. Mission creep, I think, is something that we have to worry about, but I think it's a misnomer in this sense. Mission creep tends to happen by accident, versus this president is actively trying to get us into a war. He has set up the apparatus, he set up the information warfare. He's pushing out the propaganda, and he is slowly moving us into war with the purpose of engaging in war versus mission creep, which we find ourselves in war. And so we have to be very clear. This president is trying to engage in war to topple the Maduro government without permission from Congress or the American people in general. And, I think, it's something that should be stopped. It's illegal, and it's also, again, not in the long-term national interest of this country.
Getting us into war potentially with Venezuela, that's a really serious statement today, Senator.
It is. I think it's unfortunate that we have to be as strident in our opinion, but we are in a situation where once we go down that road, it's very hard to turn around. And I also fear that there's too much cockiness coming from this administration, believing that it would be an easy war. Venezuela has, sophisticated military capabilities. They have some military weaponry that they're importing from Russia and potentially from other countries. Why are we putting our men and women in harm's way for something that I think is not in the long-term national interest of this country?
Senator, just another random question, because having spent some time in Phoenix over the summer, was this one of the hottest summers on record for Arizona, for Phoenix?
This last summer, no, thank God. But the summer before that, it was extremely, extremely hot, and I think that was the hottest summer on record. And it's going to continue to have. We have some breaks here and there, but unfortunately, due to climate change, Arizona is going to continue to get hotter and hotter in certain spots.
So what do you say to the climate deniers that say it's just the natural ebb and flow of the environment?
Well, you could deny it all you want, but, for those of us that have lived in Arizona, we can tell how much hotter it's gotten. At night, it doesn't cool down like it used to. Our monsoon rain that used to come in and cool down the valley dissipates. You can actually see it on the Doppler radar. You see the clouds just dissipating as soon as they get into the urban areas. We see our water tables dropping because of drought. You could be denying all you want, but at the end of the day, the consequences are the same. And we should be trying to figure out how to mitigate climate change, because it's already here, by the way, in Arizona, and try to hopefully, save the rest of the country, because right now Arizona is going to have to do its best just to make sure that we are able to survive and thrive in the valley and other parts of the state, considering that, climate change is definitely here.
God bless you, because when they say it's a dry heat, it's still 110 or 115. It's still pretty darn hot.
It is hot. It's still better than the humidity everywhere else. But, it of course concerns me, for those that, are living on the margins. If you're poor, your electricity bill is going to be higher. You're, probably not going to be able to spend time outdoors during the summer because it's too damn hot, and your quality of life just diminishes.
So, Senator, if and when you decide to run for president, come on back. Announce it here on the briefing on SiriusXM Potus 124.
Well, I will gladly come back no matter what, so just give us a ring.
Thank you. Senator Ruben Gallego, Democrat from Arizona, father of three, and doing the 3 a.m. feedings and burpings. Senator, thanks again for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes.